There we are. We'll let some people get in here as we get going live. Am I on the wrong podcast?
What does that mean?
Did I infiltrate the rundown?
Yeah, just because Cole's not here. Sorry, Cole.
No, Cole's busy. He did a YouTube the other day with a bunch of thoughts, and he's busy. And we'll get back to normal program at some point. All right, we'll let people roll in here in the next minute or so as we get going. This is gonna be obviously all fall camp, kind of a halfway point, I guess. I guess they're through 12. Today would be 13. I mean, so we're sitting here 2 weeks from Baylor. And really, what are we 1 week from game week? I mean, that's the biggest thing.
It's amazing.
That's why I'm wearing a black shirt and blackout, right? Yeah, I'm ready.
Blackout. Yeah. So we're that's really the thing. I mean, we're just a little over a week from game week. So you're talking about fall camp's got only a handful of days left, and then you're switching and preparing for Baylor. All right, Auburn Sports Show at noon. We're gonna give we'll give our fall camp thoughts, things that have stood out, concerns, maybe biggest storylines for you, and we'll get to as many questions as we can as we go. Let's just start with this and get this out of the way, since this was obviously just an insanely talked about topic the last 2 days and revolving play calling. Jay wrote about it. Brian wrote about it. We put the video up with Hugh's comments. We put, all that stuff. We can just go around the horn. We can go Brian, Jay, Caleb. Like, do you care? If you do care, what do you care about involving just kind of anything involving play calling and what was said by Derek Nix, what was said by Hugh Freeze? Like, what's kind of your takeaway?
I care a little bit because to me last year they looked a little convoluted offensively, and I don't know how much this plays a part in it. And I'm also glad that I finally understand exactly what's happening, moment by moment as they're calling plays, right? Now I know that you and Derek Nix are on the mic with Jackson Arnold, whoever's the quarterback, right? Now we know that exactly who has responsibility for coming up with the plan for each part of the game plan. We know who's responsible for, quote, calling the plays or suggesting the plays and calling them in. So I have a better understanding of it. That's fine. But it's still, to me, it's a little I'm not sure it's a good idea to have more than one person on the mic directly to the quarterback. I just think that's a recipe for confusion and in the heat of the moment, maybe things not to be as smooth as you'd like them to be.
I lived in a house with a wife and a daughter that were up my ass constantly, so I'm used to having multiple voices in my ear. So as you could tell from the column that I have on the front of auburnsports.com, I 100% believe that Hugh Freeze called damn near every play last year, if he didn't call every single play. And I'm not exactly sure why he's playing this shell game. I don't see why it matters. I mean, I kind of can. Maybe he's just trying to help, make D Nix look more valuable. And he is very valuable. I think it would be, you want to do things to promote your assistants, to enhance their value, to let the world know that they've got ability. And Derek Nix absolutely has ability. But Hugh calls the plays. And I believe the stuff Derek Nix was saying was true. He's the first down expert, and I think he does the whole game plan on first down, and he's got plays ready to go on first down. Kent does third down. He's the expert on that. I believe that all to be true. At the same time, I believe the head coach makes the calls, and I don't really give a shit because, look, they got to win games. They got to win games this year. They got to win. More is better. I think the schedule is very advantageous. If the offense sucks this year, and I don't think it will, but if it did, I mean, I'd be beside myself. I'd be like, You've got to stop telling tall tales about who's calling the plays. Just take accountability and move on.
Yeah. I think the only thing about calling plays is people only care if the play calling is bad and plays aren't working. I think if Auburn was having success, no one would care whether Hugh was calling plays or D-Nix was calling plays. But the fact of the matter is, the last 2 years, the plays haven't been working. So I think that's kind of why it's a big deal, and I think somebody just needs to take the reins. Honestly, the too many cooks and too many chefs in the kitchen, or whatever the phrase is. I think things get a little jumbled. And I was talking with B-Matt about this the other day. Is over the last 2 seasons, it's almost seemed like there's been 2 or 3 different personalities trying to figure out how the game wants to be run.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I'm probably in line with a lot of what you guys are saying. It's overblown, but I said this yesterday. It's overblown in terms of the reaction that I saw from the national reaction to when I put out what Derek Nix said. And let's just be clear. The question was asked to Derek Nix, tell me about play calling. That's what Derek Nix was asked on Monday. Play calling. What Jay asked it. Jay asked, explain play calling. His answer was, I'm first down. I get us started. Kent does third down. So, like, this isn't a manufactured thing by us. He was specifically asked about play calling, and his answer was, me first down. Kent deals with third down. Hugh can overrule us. I mean, I think it's been explained a little bit poorly, maybe too many words. And even Hugh's explanation was, I don't know if it helped. I mean, he's like, Derek Nix is the offensive coordinator. And then he says, Nix is the play caller. Well, I'm with Jay. That's not true. That's not true. So that's annoying. For whatever reason he keeps calling Nix the play caller. And we know that's not true. Hugh, you are the play caller. And also, it doesn't matter. I told Jay, if offense goes poorly this year, is anybody going to go, man, Derek Nix? No, they're going to go Freeze. Like, it's going to be on Freeze. So just
that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't know why we're playing the game. Like, it's going to be on him if the offense doesn't work. So the biggest misconception of what happened, I think, nationally, of the reaction on X to that was crazy. They're not literally going, all right, first down, Derek, your call. All right, that's that one. All right, my turn. I call second down. Okay, third down, Kent, your turn. Like, it's not going like that. Freeze is the primary play caller, and those guys have their input. But the way it's been explained is not great. Freeze is the primary play caller. That needs to be clear. My biggest issue that's not being talked about, and I've said it on the board, is because you have multiple guys preparing first down, another guy sort of preparing third down, and because Hugh is the head coach and he's involved in a lot of stuff, he is missing things during the week. It happened last year. That's my biggest issue with the way it works. It's not even necessarily who calls the plays Saturday. I don't care. To me, it's the way it's set up. Hugh is not in every offensive meeting in the week. That is an issue. Like, the only way that's not an issue on Saturday is if every single thing being talked about in the meetings he misses is relayed to him, great. But boy, that opens the door for details to be missed and for stuff to happen on Saturday to fall through the cracks. Like, that's my biggest concern.
When you say it's an issue, I worry that some people in the chat would say you're being critical, like he's not doing the job right. I think he's doing the job perfectly. It's not. It's a problem. It's an issue if he's going to be the only play caller, right? That's what you're trying to say. I think Hugh does a great job as a head coach. I think he's got to bounce around. I think he's got to have his nose in the defense a little bit. So he doesn't need to be in every single offensive meeting, in my opinion. But as you mentioned, Justin, that creates a gulf, right? Between, he's spending some time with the defense or special teams. That means it's a little bit less time with the offense. And maybe he's not totally down with whatever the weekly adjustments are, whatever, those plays that they're specifically are targeting LSU or whoever they're playing, or just the checks and stuff. Maybe he misses some stuff.
Well, we know Coach Tubbs was in every single meeting, offense and defense, all the time. So,
every single one.
That's the gold standard right there.
Yeah, Tubb was a little bit of a different cat, wasn't he? Because he was on the practice field all the time. And Tubb would go entire weeks without being on the practice field. I'm not being facetious.
Yeah, and Kingsley in the chat says, is it possible with multiple play callers that you don't allow one play caller to get in a groove? Kind of. I mean, I do think Nix has been around Hugh enough that they probably think similarly on how they call plays. Like, again, what happens on Saturday, literally on who's calling the play, doesn't concern me. I don't really care. I just go back to Jay. Like, no, Hugh doesn't have to be in every meeting, every offensive meeting, and he probably can't be if he's going to be the head coach. But if he's going to be the primary play caller, we're potentially going to have a problem. And it happened last year. There were things that were talked about in meetings between quarterbacks, Ken Austin, Jake Thornton, Derek Nix, and Freeze was not in those meetings, and it did not get translated to Freeze. And then if Freeze calls a play and has an expectation on Saturday, but he was missing something during the week, it just leaves the door open for mistakes to happen. Of he calls a play and thinks something is going to happen. Peyton Thorne did another thing. And then Peyton goes, well, we talked about it during the week. I talked with Austin and we talked about this. And Freeze is like, well, I wasn't part of that. That happened last year. That's my concern. So
Ben's asking, why would we talk about old news? It's the same play calling process as last year. Listen, when I was sitting at the table, it was my question that I asked, as Justin mentioned earlier. I asked him if he could find a way to demystify the magic that is Auburn's play calling. I was being kind of facetious. When I got the answer, it was so non-important to me that I didn't even mention it to you guys. Like, it was just like the same thing that he said before. And it wasn't until later that Justin happened to see it when we were writing some stuff back and forth about it. He said, he say that? Might as well put it up, you know? And somehow it just got latched onto by people who don't cover Auburn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it kind of blew up, and then it gets on the boards and kind of blows up. And that's kind of how we react to it, right? Because for the four of us here, there's been no breaking news. Like, this is the same as it's been.
No.
I mean, we had a national writer take that quote and turn it into a column on "You Free Should Be Fired" right now because of what he said about
absolutely insane, man.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
And when I put that post on X, I literally said the words "just to reiterate," meaning we did this. This is exactly how it worked last year. That was the whole point of me saying "just to reiterate," meaning just making sure we're all on the same page. Everything's still going. Everything's still working like it did last year. That was the only point. And I thought the when does Freeze overrule us? You know, that's kind of interesting. But I literally said just to reiterate, just to be like, we're in the same boat we were last year. Nothing's changed. But just to reiterate, here's kind of what they're doing. But it's also, when people just want to dismiss it, the reason that I think it's also fair to not completely dismiss the conversation is because the offense was not efficient last year. If the offense was great, yeah, sure, non-issue. But you don't get to go, guys, we did this. They did this last year, man. It's no big deal. Well, but the offense wasn't good. So it kind of still is a lingering question, because you can go, you're doing a thing again that led to inefficiencies, but you're doing the same thing. So I think it's perfectly reasonable to continue to have the conversation, even if they did it last year. That's my take.
All right. We got to move on from play calling.
Yep. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do, all right, takeaways. Anything that surprised you, good, bad, player? Like, what do you think is, if there's a storyline so far in fall camp, what is it?
For me, that sticks out. The biggest thing that sticks out this fall camp is the play of Jay Crawford. Oh, my fault. Were you?
No. You go.
You go. Yeah. You roll, buddy. You go.
I think the play of Jay Crawford has kind of been the thing that stood out to me. The jump that he's made from year 1 to year 2. We knew he was a good player in year 1, but he looks even better as going into his sophomore season.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, that would be my pick, Jay Crawford as a standout so far. But I think the cornerback room overall, the defensive back room overall, has just been really good. They're going up against a great group of receivers, and they are, at the very least, holding their own, probably winning a lot more battles than they're losing. So shout out to the recruitment, the development, the job that Crime Dog and the quarterback's coach. I'm so bad sometimes. Shout out those guys that have done recruiting and developing those guys. They've done a great job there. So, and then I guess my biggest concern that nobody really talks a lot about is it remains the buck position, just because I feel like it's a really talented group, right? They've recruited that position pretty well, but not one of those guys has really had any production on the college level. I think Kieron Crawford had 1 tackle for loss last year. I know he had a bunch of quarterback hurries and such, and he may come out and have, double-digit sacks this year. That would not completely shock me, but none of those guys are proven, so I am curious about that area of the team going into the season.
We're just doing our favorite standout here.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, it'd be Xavier Chaplin. Excuse me. I mean, he's had a really good camp. Tons of pressure on him because Auburn hasn't had somebody good at that spot in a long time and really needed somebody there. Mm-hmm. Needed an anchor at left tackle. They went out and got probably the best guy, or maybe the second best guy, one of the top 2 guys available in the portal the whole time. and the expectation was that he would come in and be, the knight in shining armor, and he has been that. He's a great team guy. He's very popular in the locker room. He's a very good player. He's been able to acclimate to the heat. Jake was saying the other day that Xavier's done a great job of picking up the offense. He understands the calls. He's making the adjustments. He is that man. And so, to me, that's a big development, big development.
Yeah, I don't know where I'd go. I guess the cornerback, maybe the cornerback position as a whole. Not just Jay Crawford, Kayan Lee. Multiple times when we've been out there, he's making plays, and then you toss in Rayon Strader, who is also making plays in the windows that we see. And I love how he's built. He's long, and then Rayshawn Pleasant, who we haven't seen a ton. He missed a little bit of time. Now he's back, and we know sort of how they look at him. That cornerback position. That's as good as it's been in a long time. I don't know. I could have to sit there and go through rosters, but I'm thinking about, to me, Strader, I don't know. I'm not at every second of practice, but man, he doesn't look far off from Crawford and Lee. I think those two are ahead of him, but I just see some things in him that say the dude can play in the NFL. So, and then if Pleasant is what he's supposed to be, and with his speed and stuff, man, that's some really, really good options. If those guys can be what they're cracked up to be, God, that would help. That would help a ton. Because you got a linebacker and interior defensive line. We want to see how those go. But yeah, I'd probably say the cornerback position as a whole has looked really, really good to me.
No complaints there. I love the depth back there. I love what DJ has put together and his staff put together. Again, just from a staffing perspective, right? They've got the starters. You got the Jay Crawford and the Kayan Lee, and then you've got Rayon and Pleasant, and you got the developmental guys below that. It's set up perfectly, and it's a defense run by smart people who understand what they're doing. Just leave it at that.
Yeah. What about concerns? What's maybe one thing that you've heard or seen that either surprised you or you went, I'm still very unsure about that player position?
I'll calling. Yeah. I mentioned Buck. I would also say the running game. The couple of times we've been out there in 11-on-11 situations, I haven't felt, other than some quarterback runs, I haven't really felt great about Auburn's running game. And I don't know if that's just, because the defense is ahead early in camp, because you've got, some new guys back there, maybe not getting it done as well or correctly, or a new offensive line trying to gel. But that concerns me, because if they can't run the ball, I just think they're not going to be as effective as they want to be in the red zone. And that's such a big area that they need to improve on from last year to this year to be a quality team to win 8 or 9 games.
I'd agree with B-Matt. That's kind of the thought process that I was going with. I was kind of leaning on the running game with that running back room. Like, there are some things to feel good about with each guy in that running back room, because I feel like each guy in that room is kind of, a different type of runner. But at the same time, you don't have that you don't have the guy that is for sure going to be able to make plays happen. Damari's had some issues in the past holding on the ball. You're still kind of learning a little bit about Darrell Robinson. I think he could be really good. And then you've got the young guys kind of as well, Jeremiah Cobb. So it's just going to be, I think for me, this season's just going to be about, all right, let's see who in the running game can step up.
For me, I think it would just be run defense. I think a lot of the ends, I'm just not sold on the tackles, defensive tackles. I know they have the numbers and they look great. Look at James Ash. He looks like a bad boy. I like Jordan a lot. Obviously, everybody here does as well. I just need to see like Bobby step up and be this, major player. And I'd like to see Malik continue to build on where he was. I think he's been doing that, but I just want to see the run defense be really good. I guess that's my biggest concern if it's not quarterback, but I like a lot of things about this team. Honestly, I don't see a whole lot of negatives.
Yeah, I'm with you on run defense. That's probably been at the top for me for a while, which is a combination of interior defensive line and linebacker. There's just a lot of guys that are unproven. Not that they can't do the job. We don't know, but
right.
Like, what's DeMarcus Riddick going to look like as the man all year, every snap? How good is Xavier Atkins exactly? Is Robert Woodyard going to actually take a step forward? How good is Caleb Wheatland? And then same thing with your interior defensive line. Like there's bodies, but I don't know. I mean, Blockton could take a big step, but he's got to do it. Bobby Travis could take a big step, but he's got to do it. I mean, I don't know. So there's just a lot of questions. Like I think there's potential. Those two, the interior defensive line is going to be like a money ball thing, just like what can we collectively get from that group? And Bryce Dees I love what we're hearing about him. I don't know if that means he's going to be, I don't know exactly what his factor is at linebacker, but that seems like a hit on an offer and a camp guy. I don't know if he can contribute this year, but I'm with you. Run defense probably in general is, but I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago and in the building, I was like, they think they're going to be able to stop the run. I mean, they think that they've got a collective group that can do a good job there, but I'm kind of, I'm sort of one of those, I'll believe it when I see it type of deal.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if anybody on this panel can name who Auburn's leading tackler was last year.
Eugene Asante?
Nope.
No, the kid from the dude. My gosh.
Yep. You're on it.
The transfer.
Yep.
Mausi?
Yep. That was
Dorian
it.
Mausi. Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
They got a lot of mileage out of him, didn't they?
They did. I didn't realize it until like this spring or summer when I was just looking at it. I had no idea. Jaron Thompson was second. Jalen McLeod, the Buck, was third. That just tells you what a great player he was for a guy whose main job is just rush the passer, to be third on the team in tackles. Asante was fourth, and the next were Caleb Harrison and Keldrick Falk, fifth and sixth, coming back. So they've got some guys that have got to step up in those important positions as run stoppers. Clearly at middle linebacker and at that strong safety position too. So those are key positions they've got to fill and fill with really quality players.
I think I saw Mausi on a preseason game. I thought I saw him on the sideline somewhere.
I think
trying
he's
to make a roster.
Vikings.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he.
Yeah, Sky in the chat was mentioning that Cole just did a story, I don't know, 2-3 days ago about Auburn's best portal additions through the years, and I remember seeing Mausi pretty high on there, and I didn't realize that he had been as good as he had been. I don't know why I didn't recognize that, but I mean, he's a great guy to talk to. I didn't realize he was such an impactful defensive player, and I watch every snap just like everybody else.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way.
I get so freaked out maybe by Jalen, the crazy things that Jalen McLeod would do and Keldrick, and I just the everyday excellence of Dorian Mausi gets overlooked, I guess.
Yep.
What do we got in the chat? Anything good? Any questions we want to start rolling through?
Anthony R asked who starts beside Caleb Harris, because we know Caleb's got that spot locked down. By the way, for those of you who are kind of new to the scene or whatever, Caleb's changed numbers. He's wearing 8 now. So when you see him out there 8 and you're trying to figure out who that is, that's who it is. There's a lot of options.
Yes.
Justin, I feel like they kind of adjust them based on their personnel look. Meaning if they're kind of preparing for more of a physical team or they're preparing for more of a passing team, you can go with Champ there. You can go with Sly there. You can go with New Boy there. I feel like we can mix and match.
Kinsley Foster.
And Jacquez Robinson we've seen with the first team.
Yes.
And we haven't even mentioned the transfer, Jacoby Matthews. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Well, we talked to TJ Rushing on Wednesday. And I sat there for that entire interview, and I asked him, I think 2 different ways. I was like, what about this other guy? I was like, hey, what about Faustin? We've seen Faustin out there with the ones. I've seen him mixed in, and TJ was very, reluctant. I mean, he just straight up was like, didn't even get close to naming another guy next to Caleb. He was like, wide open. You'll find out against Baylor. Everybody will find out against Baylor who starts. Yeah. And it could go beyond that on what that looks like in terms of rotating. We obviously feel comfortable about Caleb Harris. I don't know. Like, I have seen Faustin going back to the Saturday practice we watched, going back to the Thursday. He's definitely been in with what I would say is a lot of ones on defense at times. He's definitely a guy that I think is up there. Sylvester Smith is definitely in there as a nickel or a safety. Jacquez Robinson, man, he looks the part. I don't know. I mean, we'll I don't know what he'll look like, but God, he looks great. And then you think about New Boy and Winters, like how much better can they get? New Boy could be a guy that doesn't start now, but by late October he could be starting. So they've got options. I mean, there's no doubt they've got some good options.
We even saw Champ Anthony at safety one practice,
Yep.
right? So
We did for sure.
we've named like 5 or 6, 7 guys there. Of course, they're only probably going to play, maybe 4 or 5 total safeties as long as somebody doesn't suffer a major injury, right? So not all those guys are going to mix in there. It should be really interesting to see what happens starting next week.
I still like Champ as a utility guy, though. Like some nickel, some corner, some safety.
Yes.
I think he's a player. I just think that they maybe don't love his run stop ability as much because he's a smaller guy.
He plays physical, though. He's one of those
He
small
does.
guys that will throw his body around. So
He's not a wuss. That's part of the reason he got hurt, I guess, last year. But as Carnell used to tell me, I said, Carnell, why didn't you just get out of bounds, man? Because remember, Carnell got hurt in his career because he refused to go out of bounds, remember?
Several times, yes.
Which is the opposite of Brad Lester, by the way. I hope you're watching,
Oh,
Brad.
come on, man.
I hope you're watching, Brad, because I tease him about that all the time. But with Barnell, I was like, dude, you got to avoid tackles. And he goes, I can't do it. I run the way I run, and I cannot change it. And Joe Cribbs had talked to him, too, back when he was playing about, you've got to change this. And Carnell told him the same thing. I can't do it. I run how I run.
Yeah.
And that's just what Champ does, too. Let's see,
of,
Cole. We got a comment in the chat from somebody named Cole Pinkston.
Oh, boy.
This is Dream Team right here.
We talking like, what was that, 94? We talking about Jordan, Barkley? What are we talking about here?
92.
92, my bad.
Years are getting away from you, huh?
They are.
Christian Laettner.
Yeah, the best of the Dream Team.
I knew you'd have a chance to skewer that one. Hunter asked in the chat, how long is Justin Arnold's rope?
Jackson Arnold.
We got to talk quarterbacks. That's a good question.
Justin. I'm sorry, Justin. Jackson Arnold.
Jacko, by the way, Hudson Cox said he called him Jacko. So I don't know if that's his. I don't know if that's going to catch on or not. Jacko is a.
That sounds like a villain in Marvel or something. I don't know if I like it. Jacko.
How long is his rope? I mean,
that's what Hudson Cox calls him. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was a video on social media when he said, "Who's impressing in camp?" He was like, "Jacko." Jacko.
I mean, here's the thing. When I've been out there, Jackson Arnold hasn't done anything to impress me and hasn't done anything to think he's not going to be great. I don't have a great opinion on him yet. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
That's fair.
I feel kind of the same way. Like, I haven't seen anything out of Jackson Arnold that's like, majorly concerning or anything like that. Like, very serviceable quarterback, but I haven't. It's not like watching somebody and be like, this guy can 1,000% change the offense.
He might, but
I mean, he might, but like, I haven't seen anything like this guy's outstanding. He's great. He's the solution that Auburn needed, but he's also not done anything that I'm like majorly concerned about from the time that we've been out there.
Yeah, what concerns me is this. There seems like there's a relative lack of hype around Jackson Arnold right now. Like I feel like if he was having this amazing camp, we would hear more about it, and we don't hear a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I always fall back to when Cam Newton was about to start, in 2010, we kind of got the same thing. I mean, they were being kind of quiet about him on purpose. I don't think they're sandbagging on Jackson. I think he probably holds the ball a little too long. That's what he did at Oklahoma, and that's probably a habit that Freeze and D Nix are trying to get fixed.
Yep. And I'm not worried about the confidence thing too.
Yeah, that's an issue. I mean, we talked to Freeze Thursday. And I didn't love some of the things. I mean, give him credit. He was honest, but he talked about, hey, offense has got to just be better right now. The visor throwing thing prompted it, I guess. But then he just said, we're not executing quite how I would hope. But then he kind of said, but the defense is throwing a lot, and you're in this stage where you're just trying everything, and you're trying to get everything in, and it can be a little convoluted sometimes. And when we start to hone things back down, the execution could look a little better. And you're kind of in that part of camp where it could just kind of look muddy and messy sometimes. And so, yeah, the confidence thing's interesting with Jackson, because I actually thought about that the other day. You have Freeze on the record just the other day going, I'm really pleased with Jackson Arnold. He's getting rid of the football. He's making good decisions, right? Then you have DJ Durkin says, I'm glad he's on my team. He's getting rid of the football. He's mobile. He's athletic. You got Ken Austin going, man, he's stronger than you think. He's faster than you think. So you've got these public comments that are pretty encouraging. But then kind of to your point, we've watched some practices. We've watched 2 full practices. And neither one of them I don't think anybody came away going, whoa, Jackson Arnold. It was kind of like, I mean, okay. And so, yeah, I don't really know where I fall on it either. It's like he hasn't done anything that I'm like, shoot, man, this is a problem. But he also hasn't had a lot of moments you're like, damn. But we also haven't gotten to see a full on like today they're scrimmaging. Like it's no contact. What I think Jackson's partly a gamer too. Like get him in a game, let him run, let him break tackles, let him do that. That's part of his game that really isn't shown in fall camp. So like you got to give him some credit there. But back to the confidence thing. That's what I'm talking about with those public comments. I do wonder, when I'm hearing that, is he really doing? Is he everything they're saying, or is there a little bit of, hey, we're going to pump this guy up. We are going to lift this guy up. He had a bad year last year because Hughes talked about it in the past about his confidence. And so I don't know. I just wonder if there's a little bit of that going on. Like hey, when we get in public, we're pumping this guy up. His confidence is going to be, we got to get this guy believing again. So anyway, yeah.
I do think that Auburn has options, quality options. I don't think they had quality options last year behind Peyton Thorne. I think they've got options if it doesn't work out. And I believe somebody asked, I think it was Sky Underwood, asked if we thought that Jackson could be just a system quarterback. As long as he's just making the throws, they've got receivers that can make the plays. He just got to keep from making bad decisions and turning the ball over. Like a game manager. What do you think?
I'll take it.
Game manager.
I mean, I think anytime
I'll take it. Yeah. Go ahead, Caleb.
you don't turn the ball over, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I don't think Jackson's going to turn the ball over too much. Not that you were saying he would, but he was pretty good about that at Oklahoma. I want to see. Here's what I really want to see about Jackson. I feel like when we watch him in practice, he throws with such bad footwork to me, and it's not a dig on a Hugh or anything. He just likes to kind of do these little short arm, sidearm throws like he's Raphael Furcal or something, and he doesn't step into the
call.
What a
callback!
Like he just flicked that ball. And Jackson has a strong arm, but I would just like to see him step into throws more. And I just wonder if that's going to be an accuracy issue a little bit when we get into the season. Maybe he's just dicking around at practice, and when we get into the games, he starts using more of a traditional form. But Ashton and Dukes, for sure, both kind of step in and have more of a traditional motion, I guess. And they have strong arms too, so I don't know. I just want to see how it works out. I'm not trying to call, oh, you guys better watch out. JG's Mr. Quarterback Whisperer. I'm just saying I don't like the footwork sometimes on the throws that I feel like he's got time to throw it. And the throws on time, it's just he's falling away when he throws it or something. He just looks odd throwing the football sometimes. I don't know. I know he's a gunslinger. I know that. And Brett Favre was the same kind of player, and he's pretty damn good. So
hey, with this group of receivers, a gunslinger would fit great in this offense.
Hell yeah,
Although
man.
I think the RPO is designed though for the more, let's be accurate, let's make great decisions. So maybe it wouldn't. I don't know.
Well, it also needs a runner, and I think he's going to be a really good runner. B-Man, you think the same thing?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that'll be a change. Like Peyton was mobile and he could scramble and make some plays. Jackson's going to be like designed runs. Like we're going to run him. We're going to call a play, and he's going to be a runner and pull. Like we want him to run. We want him to take a few hits. We're fine with that. Peyton was more athletic than you thought, but there weren't a lot of like straight up designed runs. Like Peyton, you're running the football. Jackson, that's going to be a different deal.
I don't think RPO was really in Peyton's DNA. I think he was making an adjustment to kind of a different attacking paradigm. Whereas with Jackson, he's been doing this the whole time. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be a much better fit. And I hate that for Peyton because he competed his nuts off. And I know there's people in chat probably think he sucks. You're not going to hear any of that from us. I feel like Peyton competed his balls off. I really do.
He did.
Just want to say that. So Jackson.
What do we think about the offensive line? There's a question here from Hunter. How many O-linemen do you think will get drafted? We saw, by the way, Thursday, handful of NFL scouts there. And after practice, when we were waiting on Freeze, I look over and Jake Thornton's like holding court with damn near all of them. And I'm like, no, it's nice to see a bunch of scouts talking to Auburn's O-line coach.
That's true. That's a good point.
Great. That's great. You got certainly Chaplin and Lou, and I don't, who knows about the other guys. I don't know if Jeremiah Wright could somehow work himself into that, or what Mason Murphy's going to look like, or Xavier Miller's kind of that sixth guy. But is that group, you think they're everything that they've sort of been? We talked about Chaplin. Of course, Thornton said he thinks Lou's the best center in college football. Is that group kind of where we think they need to be? Is there anything that you've heard that makes you go, I'm not sure they're going to be quite the group that people I think talk about them like they're a top third unit in the league.
I think they should be. I just don't think we've necessarily seen it yet. But the season hasn't started yet, so and they're going up. It's first part of camp, so maybe there's some growing pains there. I don't know, but that's the position that I'm most excited to see. I most dread to see, because I know that if it is not as good as we think it's going to be, this whole thing falls apart. Right?
Yeah.
It just falls. It's the same thing over and over again if they can't get it done.
Yep. No question.
No question.
I think this offensive line group is the best offensive line group that Freeze has had since he got here, for sure. As far as how many guys actually get drafted, if you were to ask me that right now, I think Chaplin and Connor Liu are the only two that would get drafted, unless, some of the other four had a really good season and their stock really went up, which, I mean, it's very possible. It's always beneficial when you have guys, especially on the interior, your three interior guys, they've all played together for years, right? Connor Liu's got a ton of experience at center. He's got a ton of experience as far as, changing things and relaying information to the rest of the offensive line. You've got probably the best left tackle that Auburn's had in a long time, at least from what we've seen. I think Xavier Chaplin's the real deal. We kind of talked about it on the rundown a little bit earlier this week. We think Chaplin's the real deal at left tackle. So, I mean, this group has an opportunity. I think it definitely has a chance to be one of the better offensive line in the SEC.
If this was 2014 or whatever, I'd be talking about this as one of the best offensive lines in the country. It's just because of what's happened recently. It's just hard to get too confident over that group until I see it on the field, which is like a lot of things with this Auburn offense to me.
It's a lot of things with this Auburn team, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not as sold on the offensive line as you guys are. I think Xavier's a stud. I think he's way above average. I think you've got Dylan Wade, who's a little bit above average. I think Connor Liu's above average. I think Jeremiah's average. And I got questions at right tackle. I don't understand. Mason, I'm not convinced on Mason. Tall's had a lot of chances to show us something really big, and he hasn't really done it. So I don't know. Like it's a step forward.
Well, I think that's a fair point, and I think you're kind of hitting on like a bigger thing when I look at this Auburn team, and I wonder if other fans, when they look at Auburn, if they ever think about this, it's like it's been kind of so bad for the last 4 years that I think at times we look at this roster and it's better, but like relative to what? Like you're going, oh, they're so much better than it's been. Well, that's good, but that's not really the question. The question is, where do they stack up against the other units like in the league? Like they're better than they've been, man. This is gonna be a really improved unit. Cool. They're still the 9th best unit in the SEC. So you kind of got to go both ways with that. So that's kind of, Jay, where you're talking about.
Yeah,
Mason Murphy might be an upgrade, but like based on what? Like Tyler Johnson was bad. Like Percy Lewis was terrible. So hopefully he's better. Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're like an SEC championship group. You got to prove. Right. You got to prove some of that.
I mean, I would say every top team in the SEC's had back-to-back top 10 classes, right? I mean, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing for Georgia and Florida. Well, Florida, but LSU. You know what I'm saying? Alabama. That's just normal. Top 5 would be probably normal for some of those teams.
Yeah.
And Auburn's also this offensive line group also has some depth that we have not seen in years. As far as we're hearing really good things about the guys even behind that front 5.
Yeah. Got some good players, man. Ty Buster's going to be a player.
I think Ty Buster's going to be a player. Kel Ellis is going to be a good player.
They got some good ones coming through, man.
Hunter says, back to Brian, your point. Hunter asks, are y'all a believer in this running back room? I think our rushing total could be higher this year collectively. I'm kind of with you on your point earlier, Brian. My hope is just collectively that they get it done. Damari's had his chances. I love Damari Austin as a human being. Jeremiah, Hugh Freeze has said he's going to have a breakout year, but we haven't, the guy will go 3 games and not get a touch. So I have no idea.
Right.
He's a great athlete. He's fast. Darrell looks the part. Darrell Robinson, You're like, that dude is an SEC running back. That guy looks great.
Great interview too. Incredible personality in that kid.
Yeah, like a ton to like about him. And I look at him and go, man, could that guy be the guy? Like Derek Nick said, he's a really good blocker. He said he can catch the ball in the backfield.
Yep.
But
he said he wants to die on the field, right?
Literally,
to get a win.
Yeah, he'll die. I mean, I'll take that. But they need him, so let's not die literally. But
that'd be great.
But I don't know. I mean, there's again, like, is that a room where are we underplaying the concern there, or is it like, hey, they'll be fine, there's enough guys to get it done, or is there an actual? I don't know if they'll get it done. I don't know.
I think it's a great room. I think it's going to be Darrell. I think he's going to end up being the bell cow, and I think Jeremiah and Damari are good all-purpose backs who can catch the ball specifically. I don't think Darrell's a great pass catcher. But I think he can run the football, and I think he's going to give you the toughness. I always think back to what Tim Horton used to talk about. I need a guy who can run, a guy who can block, and a guy who can catch, and in that order. And, he can definitely give you the blocking and the running. So I think it'll be him plus the other guys in spot roles. I'm curious to see what Omar can carve out here. I think he's really shocked some people by how ready he is. And he just has this really low running style, and he's not a tall guy anyway. So he's just so low. It's like Trey Mason, was – he just gets that extra yard because he can find a little hole and dive through it, and it seems like a
Michael
very
Dyer in him, maybe.
Huh?
Michael Dyer, maybe too. A little bit of that.
Why are you bringing him up, man? That's old news.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He got in trouble.
He's a beast. Mabson's built. I mean, that kid, for a true freshman, he is well built, especially lower body. I mean, that dude's, he could. I just don't know, fourth running back. I don't know where the carries come in. Like, he could have in big games in Oklahoma, A&M, I can't imagine Mabson being out there in big moments. I don't know. We'll see on that guy.
You look a lot stronger in your lower half. A little Omar Mabson love there. Yeah, he is. He's the meatball. I mean, people talk about Jordan, but that guy's Omar's a meatball.
Yeah,
he's just tough little guy. I don't know if old people like us. Joe Morris used to run for the. Was he the Giants back in the day?
Giants, yeah.
He was like that too. Just ran really low, and I think it's hard for defenders to even find him sometimes. But he's not a little guy, really. He's just a little short, and he runs low. That's it. He's got a body kind of like Rude Dog Johnson, Kayla don't even know who that is. He played at Auburn before you were born, bro.
I'm chuckling at Hayden's comment that said, not much length, lots of girth.
Oh, yes. That was another one where Hugh, yikes, man. Sometimes when he's talking, it just lets it go, right?
That was awesome.
Lots of girth. Oh, boy.
What was your wife talking about with you earlier today, Hugh? I mean, what is going on here?
Let's see. Hunter says in the chat he thinks Mabson's going to be like Trey Mason. That'd be nice.
Let's relax. Trey Mason was special. His vision and his feet in traffic was special. I mean, he could find a hole. He could keep the feet going. Like, he was a really gifted running back. And there were some instincts there, that were not just that he was fast and well built, but he had some really nice patience, some nice instincts that you gotta have. Same as a receiver. You can be talented and big and physical, all that, but if you can't run a route, you get a little bit of feel, then it doesn't matter. Trey Mason knew how to run the football.
That 2013 offense is my favorite of that I've covered. I just love that 2013 offense. I just love to watch it. Incredible.
I mean, the only SEC team to ever lead the country in rushing, right?
I think that's right.
I mean, that's crazy.
Been so long, I can't remember.
Led the country in rushing in the SEC. That is an insane thing to do.
Dude, I'll tell you something we'll never see again. Ontario McCaleb, who was not a bit player, he carried the ball a lot. He averaged double digits per carry for a season. He had like 40 or 50 carries. That was crazy.
Yeah, and Nick Marshall is maybe the baddest man that's played at Auburn football in the last 25 years, other than say Cam Newton. maybe some others too. But I just love Nick Marshall as a quarterback.
He's just cold, man. He's
Yep.
cold. And me and Justin were ahead of the curve on that one. We went
Yes.
all the way out
Yes.
to the Kansas-Colorado border.
We did.
And you
Yes,
should have
you
brought
did.
home the receiver out there with them.
No,
Then we
Y'all-
tried.
Yeah.
said they
We
didn't want
tried.
him.
We sat there and watched Tyreek Hill play pickup basketball in the gym at Garden City College, and we're like, "What are we doing? That guy's pretty good." But I don't remember. I think Florida State was on him at the time, but like Auburn, it was just kind of like they were just wishy-washy. They didn't. There wasn't a lot moving on that. But sat there and watched Tyreek Hill play some pickup ball for sure.
And Nick's like, this guy, you need to get him. He needs to go to Auburn. And Hoke was like, yeah, I agree. And it just didn't happen. But it wasn't because of his conduct at that point, because he was just balling. He ended up going to Oklahoma State, but I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was away. Me and Hoke, we flew into Wichita, and we had to drive like 3.5 hours just to get out there one way. I felt like we were in the middle of nowhere. Like on the moon
drove
or
through
something.
Dodge City, walked around Wichita State campus. The first Pizza Hut, remember that? First Pizza Hut was birthed on Wichita State's campus. They still have a little bitty square brick building on their campus that says the first Pizza Hut. It started
100% true.
on their.
Go there for lunch to get the.
It's not open. It's like a museum.
That's a shame.
It's like a museum.
But I've busted so many people with that piece of trivia, Hoke. I always say, the first Pizza Hut was established on a college campus. Which one? And nobody ever knows it.
No.
People say, how did you know that? I say, I've been there.
I went to the original Mellow Mushroom back in the day when I was a kid.
Where was that? Is that in Doraville, Georgia?
No, Atlanta, Georgia, but yes.
Thanks for sharing, Brian.
Mm-hmm. I'm old.
I'm almost the same age you are.
Yeah.
Auburn did scrimmage today, so go to auburnsports.com at some point today, and hopefully we'll have thoughts. That I know some people have asked and texted and chatted about the scrimmage, and yes, they did get after it. They're done.
Yes.
We'll try to.
I should have some stuff. Not promising it, but we are waiting until some evaluation happens, and we'll talk to somebody, and then I'll put that stuff up on the board or in a story. We'll see.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about that. Just got to get that. You got to be able to watch the film a little bit.
Yeah. I know. I know a couple of people that were there that they just called me during the show, and I'm gonna call them back and see what they had to say.
Okay, good. There.
So maybe we'll double dip it. Maybe.
Yes. Very nice.
Hey,
What else?
Can I run something by you that has nothing to do with Auburn, but it's interesting to me? There's a graphic up on Fox News. It says Gen Z in the workplace. 77% of Gen Z kids looking for a job admitted to bringing a parent to a job interview. 77%.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
No,
Can you imagine taking your parent to a job interview?
that's wild.
Holy cow.
I've lost track of what generation is what. When were Gen Z? When were they born? Oh, here we go. Between the late 90s. So they're right after the millennials. They're right after the millennials.
Yeah, that's my
Is that
kids. My
that
kids
you,
are Gen
Caleb?
Z.
I don't know what I am.
No, you're I think you're after. Is it when were you born, Caleb?
2000.
You're an
What do you
elder.
identify as, Caleb?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, you're Gen Z. You're Gen Z.
You're Gen Z then.
There we go. That's us.
You're a middle Gen Zer.
Yeah, you're right in the middle, bud.
I think the first time I ever talked to JG, I had cotton balls in both ears, I think.
Yeah, but that's not your parents.
No, it wasn't. I was dealing with some sort of like ear infection.
I remember that. Yeah.
All right, we're back on target here. Here we go. My bad, y'all. I'm like a little squirrel. Oh, look, it's an acorn.
Sky says, do you feel like the Baylor game will be a defensive rock fight or an offensive explosion?
Well, every time I think it's going to be, 45-point game, it ends up being 10-3. I feel like it happens all the time.
I don't know. I just that's a tough question. I don't have like a ton of faith in Auburn's offense at this point in time, but I also can definitely see them scoring 30 plus and Baylor scoring 30 plus. I think somebody said earlier that they just repeated it now. It's going to look like the Cal game 2 years ago when it was 14-10.
Yeah, and I thought that game was going to be a high scoring. Yeah, I just can't imagine Baylor's going to put a bunch of points on Auburn, but whatever.
Yeah,
Auburn's
I don't
defense
think
is good, dude. They don't know how to deal with Keldrick Falk. Come on, man. Keldrick's going to take them to task.
Yeah, Brian's frozen. Oh, he says his power went out. So he's still showing up on my screen, but apparently he's not really there.
Yeah, I see, Brian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is storming. I'm hearing a little bit of thunder, so it's just some scattered stuff's rolling through. There he went.
Really? Okay.
It's fine. We're gonna be done in 5 minutes anyway. Yeah, I don't know about the Baylor game. Points will be scored. I don't think it's going to be 42-38, but no, I don't. Points will be scored in that game. I just that game, man. I just I wonder about the pressure. It's kind of. I was thinking about this earlier today. Actually, I don't know why, but it's so important that whatever pressure Hugh Freeze is feeling, or any of the other staff is feeling, that it not get passed on to the players. Because Freeze is saying he doesn't feel pressure. Like, oh, at this point in my life, no pressure. He is, and that staff that's been there they got to win, and it's just going to be really important. Especially with Jackson Arnold, but it's just going to be really important to make sure that team doesn't feel the kind of pressure that the fans want from this team. Like the fans are like, Freeze, you got to win. The players can't feel that. That it's just really important that that doesn't get translated over, and that they can go play with some freedom and confidence that, hey, you guys are a new team. Like you can be really good. I hope that, because Freeze has a tendency sometimes he's a little emotional, and I just I want this team and this staff to kind of play free a little bit. I think they'll play a lot better and not feel anything of what the expectations are.
Here's something that I've kind of, I don't know, one of just kind of my thoughts is, I feel like I've heard the word Baylor mentioned a lot more this year than opposed to previous years when you're talking about that first game. I think the players understand that this is not just a warm up or against, an FCS opponent or just kind of like a lower tier. No disrespect to those programs, but I think the players have a better understanding of who they're up against, and that this is a real deal program that can win at a high level. And it's going to be a tough environment, a tough place to play. And it's going to be a tough game that they got to be ready for week 1, day 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the pressure is that big a deal. I really don't. I feel like this team's they're old enough now. I don't think they'll get hugely affected by that. I think the problem is just you got to get on the road, and you got to play on a weird day, like on a Friday, and you've got to get started off on the right foot. And these guys who have been invested in this program, who have been here a while, Cam Coleman, Jeremiah Wright, guys who have been here and know how frustrating it was last year, they're going to really want to break those chains, right, and break out and show the world that this is actually a pretty good program. That's the pressure, I guess. I don't think they're going to go out there and play tepid. I don't. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to beat Baylor's ass.
Well, on that note, somebody that was at the scrimmage today texted me and said, I'm trying to think how to caveat this. I mean, he's fair. He's fair. He has high standards. I'll just read you what he just sent me. O-line was so awful today, no one could be good.
Yikes.
Offense was embarrassing. That was the text I just got.
That would kind of be on brand is how things have been going,
I mean, he said yesterday, he's like, it's just, and again, what are they doing? What's the defense throwing at them? Hey, never know. Maybe the defense is awesome. I mean, what did Jake Thornton say the other day? He kind of had an interesting comment. He said the battle in the trenches has been like as good as he's ever seen in a camp. Now, hyperbolic, I don't know, but he literally said the battle between the O-line, D-line in this camp has been, I think he said it's like the best of any camp he's ever been in. But I don't know. I mean, but yeah, so it sounded like the defense won again, which has kind of been a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, it's been a theme for sure. And I don't know. To me, it's to be expected. Defense is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's pouring now. All right, let's roll. I know Zach in the back's got to go do some stuff. We'll roll out of here. A ton of content at auburnsports.com over the last couple of days. So go catch up on all that. $1 if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, hop on. I think it's $1 is that the annual? Or no, it's $1. Yeah, what? Go ahead.
For new annuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get a subscription to the Athletic with that too. So Check that out. Justin's been tweeting that out from his account there on X, and I'm telling you, this is an amazing website. More content than you can almost read. That's the truth. So you pick what you like. And 2 completely, full message board communities at the same website. It's amazing. The corner's great, the bunker's great, and you can just find a home. It's really everything you could ever want.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. And hopefully we'll have some scrimmage thoughts up there.
Yeah,
later.
BMAT is he's gonna be working on that for sure, and I know Justin's got some too. So we'll get you some intel for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. See you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.